Jennifer, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Tom. I'm really looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be a great year. Big scores, lots of money to be won.
Good deal. And start off right out of the gate. Big Jim Beckler.
You like to get out of the gate with a little more success. Pretty good shot, leaving a solid 9-pin on the first time out of the box. You see it there. Not too tough to pick this up. Jim's a good 1-pin spare bowler.
And he's going to go for that spare right now. And as you said, David, didn't look real difficult at all. And he is paired up in this one against Greg Lothian, who you're going to take a look at here in just a moment. Greg works he's a pro shop operator over at Ball Shops, 24 years old. Frame number 1. And that's the way to get out of the gate.
Tommy, you bet. That's Greg's forte, to hit the pocket hard and with regularity and to snap that 10-pin out of there. Greg in warm-ups was having a little trouble with the corners. He told me that if he can figure out a way to get the ball rolling a little bit earlier and to trip those corners out, that he's going to be tough today.
Well, he's right there with a strike in the first. He's going to try to knock down one more right here. Greg Lothian. Looking good. What happened there, Dave?
We got the ball in, Tom, and in about 15, and the balls that he's going to be striking on, you'll see him hit about 12 or 13. If you get the ball into the oil early, it's not going to quite pick up the roll as it should, and leaving that pesky little 7-pin, as we alluded to, the corners. And when I say the corners, the 7-pin is one. Look out. Oh, right at it.
Got it. You know, Jennifer, you talked about looking for some high scores during our season, and there were some high scores in qualifying.
Yes, there was, Tom. Greg Lothian qualified with a 733, and Jim Beckler had shot a 727. Quite fine scores.
Indeed they are, and once again, Beckler leaving one standing. He didn't look like that. Just didn't look like he just let that one go at all, Dave, very well. Didn't look like it had a chance from the beginning.
Not at all, Tommy. Going right straight through the headpin, or the bugle as we call it sometimes, and he was fortunate enough to break up the split and leave a single pin spare.
Blows down the bugle right there to pick up the spare, his second in as many frames.
Well, I was going to tell you, Tommy, too, I wanted to welcome you back. I tell you, we're on for 16 weeks, and then we're off for all those weeks. I missed you, buddy.
I missed you too, Dave. You know,
right.
we planned on getting together quite a few times with that limo, and you always seem to kind of shun us away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me. Yeah, with your schedule jetting all over this part of the hemisphere, you've been working quite a bit with WLW, being the sports station in Cincinnati. And I want to congratulate you. You've done a fine job.
I appreciate that. I am glad to be back. Enjoyed our time together last year, and I'm sure this season is going to be even better. Beckler going for another spare, and his third in a row. Well, we talked a little bit about Jennifer Kleekamp with us this year, and I'll tell you what, folks, this is the prettiest face in the house.
Well, thank you, Tom. You're not so bad yourself.
No, that's... What about New Rap? You kind of excluding him?
I don't know about Dave. He's a good bowler, though.
Abuse already this year. I can't believe
this. A lot of fun to be had. Oh, not gonna go.
Incredible shot. Like we said, the corners. You want to see the corners? Greg doesn't want to see the corners. Watch this on the replay. This ball is going to be thrown right in that 13th board area. Now watch it here. It's going to roll off pretty sharply, but then deflect. That's the 5-pin. That's the head pin coming across, just missing the 10.
He picks up the spare, and you know, Dave, when you watch that, it's almost amazing that that pin doesn't go down with all of the pins scattered right around it, that it doesn't fall.
That's exactly right, Tom. You know, there's a lot of area out there, and with pins flying around and twisting and turning, you would think they should fall a little more easily than they do, but sometimes you just can't believe what your eyes see.
I know that Jennifer Kleekamp doesn't see many of those, because we saw her as our queen last year many, many times, along with many, many strikes. You gonna be back on?
I think I will. As a matter of fact, I think I might just have to bowl these men this year.
Is that right?
That's right.
Hey, Tommy, she just missed. Just missed. What were your scores?
I had a 715. In the process, I missed a 5-pin and a 6-pin. Easy spares to miss that knee shot.
Is that right?
Now, the score sheet's going to tell us a story here. What you're seeing is a match that's pretty close, a 3-pin deficit. At this point, Jim Beckler has to get striking, but he's filling frames, and that's keeping him close even though he's not comfortable with the shot yet. Now we're going to see a good shot.
Yeah, got comfortable in a hurry, just as you spoke about it.
Well, as we can take a look at it on his next frame here when he comes up, let's see if we can get a shot of his approach and his release. And what you're going to see is a man that's doing a lot of things textbook wrong, but it turns out to be incredibly successful for Jim because he's appeared on the telecast several times the last couple of years. There you saw it again, about the 9th board, hacksawing the 7 out of here. Let's watch this release. Now, it's going to go in front of his body. Now, watch it here. The follow-through goes right across his face, but at the point of release, that's the important part. Watch this. No deflection? Not today. 7-pin. Catch you later. Great shot, Jim Beckler.
It seems like a lot of people, Dave, they may not have, as you mentioned, the necessarily textbook technique, but it still seems to work for them in a lot of impressive scores.
Well, we've said this time and time again, and in the sport of bowling, and by the way, we are an Olympic sport now. You know, we finally made it. Repetition is the thing. I don't care how textbook imperfect you are. If you do the same thing time after time after time again, you're going to be a success in this game, right, Jen?
Here we have Greg Lothian, who had a fine qualifying score. Ooh, Dave, how about that one?
That's just fantastic. Remember, we told you that if he gets the ball in, it's not going to finish. Watch this ball. He hits this on about the 14th or 15th board. Watch. Right there, 14th board. Now the ball's going to deflect when he hits the 1-3. See it jump to the right? Now that's the head pin doing the damage coming off the wall. Jim Beckler, a great shot to come back with. We have a match to open our season with.
Both these players are really starting to crank it up right now. And Dave, the score has started to pick up a little bit as well.
Well, you got that right. And as you see, we're talking very, very few pins again. Talking 8 to be exact. Both players double working, and Jim Beckler has jumped into the lead.
He's going to try to increase that lead right here. The big southpaw. And just like early on in the match, or to be exact, the first 2 frames, he leaves one standing.
That's exactly right. He a little deflection that time, didn't quite get through the ball with the authority that he had on the other 3 strikes.
Jennifer, tell us a little bit about Jim Beckler.
Well, Jim is 26 years old. He is a truck driver with the Treaty Company. He's married and he has 1 child, a boy who's 17 months.
Now, I noticed his average there, 213 to 222. What kind of makes a difference in 8 pins in terms of what your average would be?
I think it's a lot for me. It's conducive to maybe the time that you bowl. It may be early morning. It may be a different house. Some houses are really easier to hit than others. And I think that probably may be the case.
I notice he bowls out of Kingpin Lanes, Anderson Township, and Greg Lothian, the hammer.
You want to see a hacksaw? Let's watch a hacksaw and a relaxation. Watch the reaction. Greg Lothian throws a great shot. He knows it. He caught all of this ball. Now watch the head pin. Go to the wall. Come off. Looking for something to knock down, but all gone.
You think he wanted that?
You betcha. Back in the match. The deficit's closed. Advantage now. Greg Lothian.
Okay, Greg is 24 years of age. He is a pro shop operator at the ball shops, and his favorite girl is his 13-month-old niece, Brittany.
How about that? And I think his favorite hobby is knocking down 10 pins at a time with that bowling ball.
Greg Lothian's hot. Look at the intensity on his face. Does he want this match?
Wow, look at him.
The boy is wound up now. He is going to relay to the public the intensity in which somebody can participate. And I'll tell you what, I guarantee you that his intensity level has put a drain on the intensity level of the match. Jim Beckler has now felt the pressure, responded with a split. Virtually impossible. 4-6-10. He's going to go for 2. It's just about good night, Irene. The only thing Jim can hope to do is strike out in the 9th and 10th frame and hope catastrophe strikes Greg Lothian.
Well, catastrophe looks to have struck Jim Beckler the way Greg Lothian is rolling the ball these last few frames. 4 strikes in a row for Greg Lothian. He's getting it done. Beckler going to try to get back in it, but once again, you can see the disgust on his face, a little disappointing.
Well, Jennifer, being the type of competitor that you are, you've been in this situation many, many times. Jennifer's probably one of the premier match play female bowlers in this town, and she can tell you that even though it's an individual sport, what your opponent does will play a part in some of the shots that you make, right, Jen?
Absolutely, and Greg Lothian, he is intense, and he is definitely putting the pressure on Jim Beckler.
I guess psychologically, isn't it, Jennifer, the fact that when your opponent continues to roll strikes, you almost feel helpless in a sense.
You absolutely do. You try not to look at them bowling. You try and play your own game, but when you hear that crowd roaring, it's tough.
No kidding. Wait a minute. Now, David, you might want to explain to the people at home when that pin can go down and still be counted.
Up to the point, the definition is if at any point the rack or any mechanical part of the lane touches the pin before it falls, even if it's going to fall anyway, it is not a strike or a spare. It does not count. The pin has to be reset. Okay. So that's basically it. So, you know, ladies and gentlemen at home, when you're doing your league play, the person sitting at that scoring table has a pretty heavy responsibility. You must watch for fouls. You must watch for pins that fall late. If you're sitting at the table and you have a pen in your hand, that's your job.
I think we should mention, although Jim Beckler does not appear to be on his way to victory, the man is only 26 years old, didn't start bowling until he was 20, and has rolled 4 300 games.
That's unbelievable.
How many 300s have you rolled?
I have a 298. I do not have my 300 yet, but I also predict this will be the year.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully it'll be on the show and you can waltz out of here with a brand new car.
That would be wonderful.
A brand new car? Is that my cue?
Yes.
That's it, Dave.
Tom Schiller from West Hill Score today has brought us a beautiful 88 Aerostar. It's a 7-passenger wagon.
I tell you what, I was looking at it outside. It's a silver and blue color.
No wonder I missed my clue. Jennifer stole it.
Yeah, Dave, the question I think a lot of people would know that know you is, does that Aerostar come with a phone in it, as we've been known to see you driving around the Cincinnati area with?
My phone is only a tool. As a salesman, I have to be in constant contact with my customers and also my wife so she can find me.
Time is money, right, Dave?
You bet. Greg Lothian finishes with 226. The best Jim Beckler can do at this point is to finish with a respectable 199, but this party was over a couple of frames ago. Greg Lothian looks tough.
He really does, and of course he will advance in the match play. You talked about Beckler. He does pick up the strike, or the spare rather. He'll get one more chance at it, and as you mentioned, Dave, a chance to finish at best 199, but far, far away from Greg Lothian. Who will Greg go on to meet in the next round, Jennifer?
He will go on to meet Don Hughes.
Don Hughes, remember him from last year?
Fine bowler.
Indeed he is. And not going to get it to fall. I guess that's more indicative of the whole day for Mr. Beckler, just 1 pin short. We'll be back with our next round of match play in just a moment on the Hudy King of TV bowling.